So keep an eye on that. All right, so yeah, we're recording now. You're here for a bookings overview. And a couple things before I get going. First of all, this isn't us moving away from Starfish. Starfish does have its uses for different areas at our institution, but this is kind of a much easier way for you to schedule things like office hours or student hours, whatever you want to call them, lab signups, exam signups, test signups, whatever you want to go with for that. Bookings is great because it will allow you to embed calendars that you create into your Canvas courses, both your Canvas courses. And if I cruise on over to a module, so like maybe you have like a overview module that has important information for your class, things like, tech overviews and, other things that are important, maybe instructions for getting into the textbook LMS or your frequently asked questions, things like that. You can also throw the bookings right up in here. And all I did was use a content page, and I just embedded, there's an embed code in the bookings, and I can just embed the bookings right in here. I'll show you how to do this during the session, but your students can come right in here and sign up for whatever service they want, select their time. I'll actually click on one of these so you can see it right here, and then we'll walk back and start from the beginning and actually create one of these. It doesn't normally take that long to load, but you can see this student signing up for Canvas Consulting. I have a instructional technology bookings calendar. And once you sign up for that particular service, you can then choose a date, and then you can see the time slots that are available for that particular date. For you, this might look like office hours, lab scheduling, test slots, or something like that. So the students can choose what they want, pop in, choose a date, pick a time that works for them, and you can add different details. There's like canned details that bookings automatically will have in place, but you can add more things like, hey, what are we going to be covering today? What particular section is this for? If it's for a course, lots of things like that. So I'll show you how to add all those things. Once they sign up for this, they're going to get a notification and a calendar item, and you are as well. You can sign these up to be in person. You can sign these up to be virtual. You can sign them up to be both, so that when the time rolls around, they can choose, or you can choose whatever it is that you want to do in order to meet. I mentioned Teams as well. Let me get to the right Teams window here. Not assignments. I want to go to Teams. So we all run Teams for our different courses. You can also embed it into a team, and I'm trying to remember, I think it's in this one that I had the example. So here's my general channel for that course that I was just showing you. And if you go down here in one of the tabs, I've actually put the bookings page right here within the team. So very easily, your students can sign up, whether it be in Canvas, whether it be in Teams. And check this out. If you give me 1 second, I'm going to pop on over and share my mobile device. And that should take over the sharing here. There we go. So you can see if I go to the student app here in that course that I was just in, I have the module right up there at the top, the course overview items, and you can see that booking sign up calendar that I just showed you on the web, but now I'm in the student app, and the students can easily get to it from their mobile device. All right, so that's kind of what it looks like when you're done. Now, let's back on out. I'm going to stop sharing this and reshare this screen. There we go. And now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. So when it comes to bookings, you should have bookings available on your My Apps area right there in alphabetical order. Now, what I found as I was preparing for this event was when I went in as a test user that is also in the system as a faculty member, they do not have bookings available to them here in the My Apps area. It's not like the end of the world, but I would like to know if you don't, because you should. You should all have access to it. If you don't right now, in the chat for this session, I posted a URL, and you should be able to click on that and get to bookings, because that's the route that I took for old Frodo here to get into my bookings area. Okay, so that's what it might look like. Now, there's two views for booking. There's an old view and a new view. That's just kind of how these websites work, right? They constantly are updating the different ways that they do things, especially Microsoft. So it's okay if you pop into bookings and you're used to this view. If you've used it before, you can continue using it this way. I am going to be leading the session today using the new bookings. It just makes sense going forward. If you want to switch to the new bookings, all you have to do is toggle this button here in the upper right-hand corner once you're in bookings. So I'm going to hop on over to mine. Like I said, the bookings tile's right here. I already have it open, and I actually have a bookings calendar open, okay? But for the sake of this session, I'm going to start from scratch. Like what I have open right now is my instructional technology bookings. I don't want to mess with that. It's running great. All right. So normally when you come in, okay, in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to be in the bookings that you had just left. All right. But we want to start a new one. So I'm just going to click on this down arrow and click on new bookings calendar. Now from here with the new view, we have the option to bring in and old bookings or bookings that we already have that is in place and kind of copy it off of that, tailor it off of that, or we can start from scratch. For this one, I'm going to start from scratch because I'm guessing that a lot of you don't have a bookings calendar yet. So what it's going to do is it's going to kind of walk us through setting it up. A couple items that I want to make sure that I guess pieces of advice that I should give you is when you're setting up your bookings calendar, try not to call it like a service, okay? So even though you might be offering a service, you might want to offer like more things eventually. Maybe not right away, but you might want to add services later on. So you might call it like biology, Michelle's biology bookings, or something like that, so that you can add office hours to that. You could add lab signups or whatever it is that you're trying to do, okay? So for this one, I'm just going to, let's see, what did I, in my notes here? Oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to call it by a course, okay? Actually, we're going to take it back a step further. We're just going to call it Kevin's, I don't teach biology, but we're going to say I do, biology booking, okay? We're not going to call it bookings. We're going to call it calendar. There we go. Now, you're going to see a lot of wording about like business type and stuff like that. That's all good. You're just going to go ahead and select education, which you can actually do now. They created one of those. And here you can add your services. So this is what I'm talking about, things like office hours, lab signups, exam scheduling, counseling sessions, whatever it is, okay? And you can add them here, but if you don't add them here, that's okay as well. We can always add them later on. So it always starts with this default initial consult, which isn't a bad idea if you're in class. Maybe you want to like require a face-to-face meeting with your students, and you might lead them down that path to sign up for an initial meeting or an initial consult. But for this, we're just going to go ahead and call one of our services office hours, and we're not going to add another one, even though we could add a second one. I'm going to end up adding 3, but we're going to just go and call it good for now. So from here, you can decide how you want and who can book appointments and how you want to do that. I'm just going to leave it as anyone right now. Reason being is because we'll let them add their names in when they sign up for it. Otherwise, it's going to require a sign in. I want to make this as easy as possible. So go ahead and complete the setup. Oh, yay, we're good to go. And so it gives us the link right here. I could actually take this and open it right now, but it's not going to give me much of anything because we have to add a whole bunch of details. Okay, so even though it's like, hooray, you're ready to go, you're really not. At least you shouldn't be. Okay, and see, there it is right there. It proves what we're talking about. We have like nothing to offer. Okay, got students' hopes up and came crashing down. So let's go ahead and get started. So it's going to open up in our bookings area. On the left-hand side, you have a navigation. Things in the navigation like your calendar. So you can actually check to see if we have any bookings day by day. Well, we saw what our calendar looked like, so obviously we don't have any bookings. When we add staff, so maybe you have a TA, maybe you have writing center consultants, maybe you have other consultants that you want to add to the calendar that might do tutoring or lab supervision, things like that, you are going to be able to add staff to this calendar. So that's pretty neat. So this is a calendar. Nothing's on here right now. This next item is customers. So as individuals sign up, students or whoever it is that you're working with, they will get added to your customer list. You don't have to add the customers. You can if you want, as you can see there. I've never added a customer. No need for that. They do that when they sign up. But we're going to focus on settings for this session. Because here's where we're going to add our staff, our hours, our other important information regarding what it is that we're going to offer and how people can sign up. So we're actually going to start at the bottom. We're going to go right down to the bottom where there's business information. Now, this is pretty generic, okay? So there's some basic details in here. You think that you click on here, nothing happens when you click on here because there's this little hidden little down arrow that you actually have to click on to get to these things to edit them. So if you didn't like what you called your business name initially, no big deal. You can change it. I've never gone in here and messed with any of these things, okay? I just kind of leave it, but you can by all means add phone numbers, add a website, whatever it is that you want to add. I'm leaving it blank just because we're trying to be timely, somewhat timely today. If you want to add a logo, you can get cute and add a logo. That's fine. I have actually added a logo before, so see if you can make your logo better than my logo. And then the last thing is business hours. I don't do a lot with this, but maybe you're not going to offer your service on like a Friday or something like that. There's a trash can, you can trash it. Maybe you want to, have later hours. So maybe you're working the night shift on Mondays and you want students to be able to sign up till 9 o'clock because you'll be around till 9 o'clock. That's a long day on Monday. Might as well get it out of the way. You can do that. Maybe on Tuesdays, you're going to run from like 8 to noon. Run to the Sydney Tavern and get a burger for lunch and then come back at, I don't want to stay there too long, but we'll stay there. We'll hang out till 2. And we'll offer our service till 5. So you can see that you can actually add breaks into your business hours if you don't want students to sign up during that time. So we're happy with what we see right there. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And so now we are heading down the road to get our first bookings calendar up and ready to roll. So we're going to move on up the list to the bookings page. Here is where we really add that the meat and potatoes, if you will, for how we want our students to sign up and things like that. Let me scroll down my notes here, make sure I'm not screwing up. Okay, we're on track. I didn't miss anything so far. So first things first, as we saw before, here's your link to your bookings page. That's great. It's not going to work very well right now because we haven't added our services and our staff and things like that. But in the future, when you want to return and share these items, okay, this is where you're going to pull that link. So if you want to include it in your team, you're going to share the link, and I'll show you how to do that. I talked about embedding it into a Canvas page. There's also this embed option. If you just want to straight up email it out to a whole bunch of people, you can access your Outlook mail right from there. Very easy to do. But let's head on down to where it says manage your booking page, and you're going to see that we have a bunch of options. The first one is the business page access control. This isn't like a huge deal right now. There's just a few settings in terms of enable for search engines so people can find it easier. If you want to learn more, you can click on that and learn more. Having you and them use the newest version of bookings, so for those that might work or have admin access within your bookings, they would be forced to use the newest version. Things like that. I don't mess with this. I leave this alone. Customer data usage consent. Just kind of a checkbox, so you might agree to have your data collected. Now, bookings doesn't collect a ton of data, so this isn't that big of a deal either. So now we get down to the third one, and now we're talking about the default scheduling policy. Now, this stuff's kind of important because this kind of depends on how long you want your bookings time to be. So generally, it's going to be like a 30-minute block. That's the easiest way to do it, but maybe they got to roll in for 2 hours, okay? You can easily switch it to that if you want. I'm going to leave it at half. The lead time. The lead time speaks to what's the minimum lead time that they have to sign up. So if they want to sign up for an appointment tomorrow at 12:19, the 24-hour rule is now in play. They can't sign up. They would have to contact you directly. You can get rid of that if you want, just like that. So you can be like, I don't care if they sign up a year in advance or 1 hour before. That's totally up to you, okay? And you can obviously make that a lot larger, and you can just type it in too if you don't want to click through all those things. The maximum lead time is how far in advance can they sign up for bookings, okay? So right now it's set up to 1 full year in advance, so I don't know how they would do that, but somebody could come in and sign up for a Canvas consulting in my instructional technology calendar for next August, okay? So you can do whatever you want with that, but just know that it does exist. Notify the business via email when a booking is created or changed. You definitely probably want to hang on to that one. Oops, I unchecked it. And then send a meeting invite to the customer. Definitely want that as well, because that'll get it onto their calendar and get them scheduled, regardless if they use their actual Outlook calendar or not. That can be helpful. Staff control. This deals with allowing customers to choose a specific person for the booking. That's a good thing. Okay, so if you have like several consultants, maybe they have a favorite consultant and they can choose that consultant and then look at the time slots available for that consultant. Okay, or lab supervisor, whoever it is that you might have, if you have additional people available on your calendar. Now, your availability here is important, because obviously you only want them to book probably when your staff or you are available. Another cool thing about bookings is it will look at your Outlook calendar. So if you have something, even though you have your availability set to during that time, if you have something currently scheduled on your calendar, even if it wasn't scheduled by booking, so maybe you have a staff meeting or something like that, it will gray that out on the sign up area. So students or whoever it is that you have signing up won't be able to sign up for that slot. So that's the default scheduling policy. We're going to see that in a little bit here. But there's also more availability items that you can add. You can, so like maybe like during the holidays, you can change the availability. Okay, so if you had like Christmas break or something, and you were still going to offer some hours, or maybe not offer any hours at all, you could adjust it for this date range here. And you can do that as many times as you need to do that. Now, if you have people that are trying to sign up for sessions during Christmas, I guess they're dedicated or not paying attention, I'm not sure. So just be aware that that is there for you. So I'm going to go ahead and close that just to get it out of the way. And we'll move on to this next one, which is customize your page. This is just for if you're trying to get cute with it, you can change some colors, whatever you want it to look like. It's not a huge deal. You can choose to display your business logo if you added a business logo as well. And then the last one is it deals with your region and time zone settings. Not a huge deal, but you might just want to take a peek at it. I'm guessing we're not going to have anybody in different time zones signing up for our bookings, but who knows? So once you're happy, you're pleased with what you have, you go ahead and click save, and now your bookings page is ready to go. We have a few more items that we have to add. The first thing I want to go to is the custom field. Now, this is important that you go this route, because you can actually add, so when the students or whoever are signing up, you can add custom items in here. You can add a text question, or you could add like a multiple choice. Okay, so maybe you have a list of different courses. So you'll say, what course are we meeting about? And you can say biology 101, biology 202, and I don't know, maybe we're doing an independent study. There we go. All right, so we go ahead and do that. So you can add more of these, but the bottom line is now when we go up to the services and actually creating the different services that are available, these custom questions we can insert into those different services. All right. So for the sake of time, we're just going to add one, but just know that we could add many if we wanted to. And we're going to go right up the list to services. Now, I know I'm talking pretty fast, and I'm trying to move as quick as possible. So if there's anything that you see that confuses you or you want to follow up on, I'm happy to sit down with you afterwards. And I'm also happy to sit down and just help you set up your calendar or your bookings calendar if you'd like me to do that. So we're going to go ahead and add a new service. And so this is where we add the things like you saw on my calendar, like the Canvas consulting, the Teams consulting, 365 consulting, stuff like that. For this one, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to go with office hours. I'm not going to do a description right now. I am going to toggle over and give them the option to do an online meeting. Okay, if you don't toggle it over, it's not going to give them the option. At least you toggle it over. They might say, hey, I want to meet in person. That's fine. We just won't use that link. We're going to keep it to 30 minutes. If you need buffer time, so for example, you got like a ton of people signing up over and over, you can add buffer time so that after a meeting, you can run to the bathroom. Or you could enter some notes or whatever it is that you need to do. So after a meeting, you could be like, I need 10 minutes. There you go. And so now students, if a student signs up for an 11 a.m. and it goes to 11:30, the next student won't be able to sign up till 11:40. Makes sense. Unfortunately, you can't set a price. At least I'm telling you, you probably can. But that drop down is there if it is something, some sort of service that we did offer that did or allowed for a price to be set. If you want to add any notes, you can. If you want to allow multiple people to attend a session and sign up for a session, you could jack up the number of attendees right here or keep it at 1. And if you want them, the customers, the students, or whoever it is, to be able to manage your appointment, so like you can book times for students. You can say, hey, Johnny, you're coming in for office hours at 11:30 on Tuesday. You can adjust that or allow the students to adjust that if you toggle this over. But we're happy with office hours. We're going to go ahead and click OK. You can see that it has the Teams icon here. We want to add a second one. Actually, I want to add a third one, so I'm just going to fly through this one right now. Let's see, lab sign up. We're gonna we need to have that in person. We're cool with that. No buffer time needed. We'll allow for 3 people to sign up, and we're happy. And we're gonna go ahead and do this one more time. Add a new service. We're gonna call this, let's see, testing open lab, and that's got to be in person as well. One at a time. Save it. There we go. So now we have 3 services. You can see that only one allows for a virtual meeting. And so we have our services established. If at any point we need to come back and change anything, you can see when I hover over this, it's very easy for me to do that. If I need to duplicate it because, hey, this next service I'm going to have is nature trail walk, is very similar to the lab sign up, we can just duplicate it. We got to trash it, we can do that. We need to edit it, we can go in here and we can very easily edit it. Now, one thing that I didn't point out when I was quickly signing these up is over to the left here, you have availability options. So maybe your business is open like we set at towards like 10 minutes ago, but for a service, we only want to offer that like 1 day a week during those time frames. So we can actually adjust that here in the availability options. Okay, so we can make it more fine-tuned in terms of when this service is available, and we can set more specific time increments and things like that, lead time, just for this particular service. Now, one thing that I didn't do that I need to do is add staff. Okay, right now I'm the only person in here, but I want other people to be on hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of the services for a little bit, and I'm going to go to the last item here, and I'm going to add staff. Okay, now let's see who is in this session. I might add some lucky individuals. Oh, I see Josiah was the first person. Tracy, you're the second person that I saw down there at the bottom. So I'm going to add you 2 as my staff members here. So just like the services up at the top, we're going to click on add staff. We're going to go ahead and add Josiah. He's going to help me out with this one. Or Josiah, we'll change you from dark orange. We're going to give you a nice orange lighter. How's that sound? Okay. From here, we can add information. The email address is preloaded. We can add a phone number. This is important too, because if we wanted Josiah to be able to manage this calendar along with me, so maybe it's like the biology department I'm setting one up for, I could set Josiah up as an administrator, and so he could go in and make a lot of these changes that I am making. All right. Just like we saw with the service, we can say Josiah does not work during all the business hours. He is not available on Monday or Thursdays, even though we know that Josiah is always available for everything that we need to get done around here, right, Josiah? So anyways, we go ahead and save the changes. And just like that, Josiah has been added as an administrator, okay? Told Tracy I was going to pick on her as well, just like that. We add Tracy. We're going to change Tracy. We're going to go with teal. All right. And then we can also change Tracy since Josiah is not going to be there on Monday. We need to make sure Tracy is, and we'll make sure she's there on Thursday as well. So boom, there we go. Okay, I've just added a couple staff members. I can always go back in and change things. Sorry, Tracy, I forgot to make you an administrator. You're just a viewer right now. We still think highly of you. But I can change Tracy. So if I wanted to make Tracy administrator after all, just like that, I can do that at any point in time. If I decided Josiah was abusing his privileges as an administrator, I could change him into a viewer, just like that. Okay. So we have our staff members. Now we're going to pop back to our services. And let's see here. I'll run the office hours, but I need some open lab help or some the lab sign up help. So if we come into here, hit edit, go to assign staff, look at that. There's Josiah, there's Tracy available. Okay, and we've now assigned staff for that service. Oops. Moving on down, we have a custom field. So I mentioned when the students or whoever it is sign up for this, okay, we can decide what information we want to collect. So actually, I'll just go back to this and show you. Oh, that's not the one. You can see down here, their name, their email, and any other information. These are the things that are going to go here. So you can choose to include it. There's two layers. You can choose to include it, and you can also choose if you want to require it or not. And that's totally up to you. So maybe I want to require their email, but I don't really care about their phone number. But if they want to add it, that's great. I don't care where they live, but I might. I don't really care about the customer notes, but I do want to make sure that they tell me what class we're meeting on. I'm going to include that, and I'm also going to require it. So when I get done creating this bookings calendar, we open it up. When they sign up, you're going to see the email, phone number, and address, and you're going to see the email and the course dropdown are two required items. Okay. So last and not least, with the service, there's one more item, and that deals with reminders leading up. So you can actually, with bookings, you can actually set reminders leading up. So, hey, one more day and we're going to meet. Okay. And they just get an email that says that. But they can also get text messages. So that's pretty cool if they want to remind them with a text message. You can set these reminders and type in whatever you want here in this text box. Maybe you want to add a second one. You can say, hey, it's 1 hour before your appointment. You can do all attendees if you want. Don't forget, today is the day. We can add emojis too, I believe. And we'll smile. There we go. Okay. And just like that, we can save the changes. That'll send out a blast 1 day before. It'll send out a blast 1 hour before. And we save it. We're ready to go. Okay. Let me check my notes here. I think I have pretty much everything I need here in order to get this bookings calendar working. I believe that is correct. So I already showed you the customers. We don't have any of those because no one's signed up yet and we haven't added any. Our calendar, you can see, has been updated. Now, in addition to myself on here, we also see Josiah and Tracy have been added to my calendar. I can, go by work week. I don't have to view it just by day and by staff. And you can see the different staff members over here on the left-hand side as well. And there's filtering and things like that. If we want to go back up to our settings, we just click on settings and that will open up those items that we just played around with. But if we're ready to share out and view our calendar, we can do it right from here for our specific service. Okay, we can actually view the calendar for the lab sign up. But if we want to see like the whole calendar, just like we did before, we go to the bookings page and here it is right here. If I click on it, fingers crossed, look at that. It worked exactly as we expected. Okay, so here's Kevin's biology calendar. This is what your student is going to see. So the student's like, I want to sign up for a testing slot. And once they do that, they're going to see, I want to sign up for the 18th. And from here, they can be like, I really enjoyed working with Tracy, but she's not available on Wednesdays. When was she? Maybe Thursday? Just like that. There's Tracy. She's available on that day. What dates is she, what times? We'll take that 11:30 slot. And now you can see down below, we have that information that we wanted to include, okay? The required items don't say optional. The optional items do say optional, okay? Now, the only thing that I'm missing here that I don't see is I thought, and maybe it wasn't for this service, but I thought I required them to tell me which course it was for. And so I'll have to go back and look and see why that's not showing up. But anyways, we could fill this out. And just like that, I'm ready to roll. I don't have any notes, and I just booked it. Okay, it was that easy for me to sign up for testing with Tracy Zamron. All right, this will then show up on my calendar. Let's see here, the 19th at 11:30. Let me see if I can get that to show up on my calendar. Check for next week. Oh, I got a notification right there. What did I say? The 19th at 11:30. Not seeing it yet, but it might take a moment for it to pop into my calendar. Okay, and as soon as it does, I will be sure to show you. But in any case, from this window right here, I can always reschedule. Like, oh shoot, I said 11:30 on the 19th. I meant noon. Okay, I can also cancel it right from here as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So once you get these things set up, it's very easy for you to manage it. If you do need to change something, maybe you add a staff member, change hours, things like that. And then you're just ready to take it and start putting it so that the students can access it. So I mentioned sharing it in a Canvas page. To do that, okay, we just grab the embed code. We're going to want the iframe. All right, we don't want just the link. Okay, we want the, I mean, you might need the link, but if you want to actually fully embed it, you're going to want to use the iframe. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take that and copy that. And I'm going to go over to Canvas. Okay. Now I mentioned that we're going to throw that into a content page. So I'm just going to go to my module area and create a new content page. Create page. Since I have several bookings, we'll call this bookings 2 just for today. And we just have a blank page here. But for those of you that tuned into my Canvas session, one of the updates was to the rich content editor. And the ability to embed, okay? And there's this cool fancy new icon here that allows you to take embed code that you pasted from like YouTube or bookings, for example, and take it and throw it right in there. Now, I wanted to show you this because bookings is kind of funky when it embeds into a page, okay? You see this right here? This is no bueno, okay? Students have to like scroll through this little thing. They can't view it. Even though my content page window is super big, okay, I have to scroll. Okay, that's bad. So I want you to pay special attention here because this can kind of seem confusing, but it's really not that bad. All right. So when you go to embed it, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just paste. I'm going to actually get rid of this. This might seem confusing. I'm just going to delete the code. All right. So that's gone. We're going to re-embed it. But before we save it or share it this time, I'm going to change the height. Okay, yeah, you're going to be, not only are you going to learn bookings in this session, but you're going to learn how to code too, so double bonus. So see where it says height equals 100%? I'm going to change that to 800. I think it was percent I changed it to, but it might be pixels, so I might have to come back and change this. But we're going to change the height to 800% for now. And that didn't do it. Okay, so it's pixels. It's too much information for me to remember on the fly. Let's do this one more time. Hopefully you're still with me. Okay, we're gonna go 800 px. All right, 800 pixels. Cross your fingers. It's gonna work. Look at that. So much better, right? Okay, now it actually fits. Well, kind of. Okay, but it's easier to scroll through. We can actually see it now. All right. So if you copy that embed code in here and you totally forget to change that, and you're like, how do I change that? It's easy to do that too. You just go to this code button like I did before, and you can actually get to the code right here as well. See where it says height. So you'll just change it to like 800 pixels, 800 px. Leave those quotes there, and you'll be good to go. There it is. So now your students will thank you, and they can easily sign up to meet with you. Did I hear a question? I'll check the chat.
I started to, just in regard to the code, because I didn't want to, if it was capital or lowercase, because I could.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters. I just always go lowercase. Okay, let's see here. So if you want to add it to your team, it's a little bit different. So maybe faculty users or even non-faculty users that are here, if you want to add it to a team, it's even easier to do that. You just take this link right here, and I'm just going to copy this link. Pretty easy. If you don't know how to do that, you can actually like open it and just copy it right from here. Either way works. And we'll go on over to our team. And I like to add it as a tab up here so it's always available for the students. So I'm going to go to a different team that I have. And I have a couple. And I'm going to, I think class 2 doesn't have one yet. So I have these tabs up here. Yeah, you can see it doesn't have it. And all I have to do is click on the plus. And I'm going to wait for this to load and see website right here. I just take this and say, this is my biology bookings. And I paste that link right there. And it will load as a channel tab, just like that. Okay. So the students can come in. They can do the lab sign up with, let's see here, We'll go Josiah this time, and we'll go for the 18th. We'll go for 10 a.m. And look at that. I just didn't pay attention to what service I added my drop-down list to. There it is. Josiah, you're working with Biology 101, so I hope you're ready, okay? And I can sign up for my bookings right here from Teams as well. Lisa Cogswell asked, can we set it up so only certain groups of students can sign up at certain times? You can't really designate like which student and when, but what you can do is set up your services so that it would make sense for them to sign up. So, but maybe you have a bunch of different classes signing up for the same service. That might be something that we can brainstorm on a little bit, but you might just kind of have to direct them in that direction. Another thing that we ran into was with the Writing Center. Sarah Hansen's on this call. Sarah works in the Writing Center, but she works both in Sydney and in Greenville. So setting up multiple locations isn't something that I've figured out how to do yet, if it's even available at all. And so for that, what you might do is offer Writing Center Greenville and Writing Center Sydney as your services, and make sure you designate that in the service. And I think that that would give you what you need to do. And then you would add Sarah to both of those. But then at least Sarah, when she sees the sign up come through, she would see Greenville or Sydney. So Sarah, thank you for giving me an awesome example. I hope maybe that solution will work. As far as like data goes and pulling data out of bookings, it's not very robust. Like it's not Starfish level type data pull, but you can go to the calendar, and there is the ability for you to export data. You know, let's see who signed up, when they signed up, things like that. Okay. But hopefully in the future, as you can see that, you know, bookings with the new look has updated and they keep on adding different things to it. Hopefully they can add more data integration to it as well. So looking at my notes here, you could add this to a Facebook page. You could just blast it out, like I said, on email. There's lots of different options. We haven't used it a ton here. There are a few. I think, you know, Tim is using it. I've had the Writing Center, I think, is using it. Math Center. So I've done a few overviews. I think Katie Johnson is using it in her math class, and I'm sure I'm leaving some people out here. But I look forward to how more individuals, both on the instructional side and the admin side, can put this to use, just to make a quick and easy calendar for your services that you offer, whether, like I said, it be instructional or admin. Just know that it is another option out there. Chad, you're still using Starfish and Writing Center because we need the ability to, so what Chad's talking about is Starfish has quick notes. Is that what it is, Chad, I think? And that allows them, while they're doing a session, to just quickly add notes in there. So yeah, definitely a good thing that Starfish has, and you can preset those notes. So this is not me telling you you shouldn't use Starfish or don't use Starfish, just letting you know about another tool for quickly and easily creating calendars. One other thing, Amy, before I get to you, and must have been a fleeting thought because it just left my, when it comes to Starfish, and if you do set your office hours up in Starfish, there's a place for notes, and you could always add a link to your bookings calendar in that if you wanted to do that. So what's up, Amy?
So right now I'm using bookings, but lately when a student clicks on to book, they get a redirect notice. And I don't know how to get rid of that. They can click it again. Like if you go to our main web page.
Okay. You want me to do that right now?
Yeah, just so you can see it, because it saves me from sending it. And you scroll all the way down to Career Services, one of the little links on the bottom.
Well, let me share my screen so everybody can see it. Career Services.
Right by the state of Michigan. There you go. And then in the center towards the bottom, if you click the blue book an appointment here, this is what we keep getting. Now, if you click it again, it'll go, but we never used to get this.
Okay. All right. I'll add that as a follow-up item.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
And then the other one, I'll schedule some time with you. I'm having trouble putting the link in my signature on my email where they can book it. And I know I can do it. There's just something that I'm missing on it. So.
Yeah, yep, I can definitely help you with that.
Okay.
This is pretty good though. I like this. Look at all these different services, everybody. And you can sign up for a quick phone call. Look at that. Nice. I love it.
It's a nice little system and I love the reminders.
Yes.
It works well.
Right, right. All right. Any other questions?
Kevin, if we decide this is something we use, for example, for lab signups, are you able to create a video or come to the class to briefly talk to the students about how to use it on their end?
Oh yeah, Danielle. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I thought you would be. I just wanted
Yeah.
to check.
No, but that was one of those questions that's good for everybody to hear, because I would have forgot to tell you that I am happy to come in and show your students how this works. Whether we do a big session or I come in individually or both, that's all good. I'm just looking for an invite, everybody. Any other questions?
What if a student contacts us and we have to add them? Can you walk us through that?
I think I can. I don't know that I've ever done this before, but yeah, if I go to calendar here, oops, I'm not sharing my screen. Sorry. Yeah, it's very easy to do. There we go. So here I am, and I want to create a new booking. Okay, just like that. I can input the like when we're going to do this on September 2nd. We're going to do this at, oh, you want 2:30? There you go. It's going to show us who's available. Now it's currently set to testing open lab, but I don't want that to be the case. I just want it to be office hours. Okay. And I didn't think I made everybody available for the office hours. I'd have to go back and change that because let's say I only want to be the person to do office hours. So just like that, we can create that booking. Now I didn't add the customer information, but I obviously would. When I'm doing that booking, I would add a student or whoever it is that's signing up for it. So excellent question. Yeah, you can input those manually instead of having the students and requiring the students to do it.
When adding the customer and having to do the email, is there an easier way to, like in Starfish, there's like a list that pops down. Here, do we just have to know their email address?
Yeah, I was just testing that to see if it would, and it only brings up email addresses that I have previously inputted into a field in Chrome. So that looks, actually, I could be wrong here too. Nah, see, oh, there we go. Look at that. I stand corrected.
I couldn't get it to work this summer in the Math Center stuff.
Really?
As a drop down. Unless they'd already made an appointment before.
Oh, maybe that might be it too. So you might have to add them manually. Yeah, that looks to be the case.
And
but that's just a matter. I mean, like, a really way to do that is just to open up an email and start typing their name in, and then it'll pull from our directory. So obviously, it would be better if it would just auto load it, but that doesn't look like it's the case. Good question. Any other questions?
Click on the
Kevin, we can see if we can auto populate it.
Okay. Well, I'll add that as another follow-up item for the manual. Let's see here, manually add. Okay. We'll follow up on that. I love these sessions when we have things that we can kind of stretch these things a little further and see what we can do. So I learn as well. Jennifer says a video would be great. I think I have a video out there, but I also think that video is based on the old version or the old Look at Booking. So I will at some point, probably not in the next 2 weeks, create a new video for it. Any other questions?
If we accidentally choose the wrong class or the wrong drop down, how do we fix that?
If you accidentally choose the wrong class or the wrong drop down, let me get back to bookings. Let me share this screen again. So let's try it. So 811, okay. We'll say Maryland student, because I know this test user. See, but that time it actually showed up, but it didn't show up as an option. And I think that's all that I want to add right now. We'll call it testing open lab, even though we're going to want it to be office hours. And we will create the booking. And we'll go to, let's see here, where in the heck is it? It's not showing up yet. Maybe if I refresh this. It's for 1 p.m. It should be right there. It's not right there. It's not showing mine. Let's go back and do that again quick. Like I said, this is good for me as well. There we go. Now it auto loads because we already added them. We see Josiah there, so we're going to add him. Call it testing open lab. 8:11, 1 p.m. Go ahead and create it. There we go. Okay, so now it acted like it was supposed to. I'm not sure why it's not showing me here, even though
Kevin, you have to, on the staff drop-down list on the left, if you click show all, you'll have to select your name for it to show up on the calendar.
Where's that at?
The left navigation panel, under staff, you have to show all, and then yeah.
Thanks, Josiah. See, I bring others from the IT department along to guide me as we go through these things. So now you can see that that did show up for me. But in any case, we can actually edit this, and we should be able to. Nope, we can't. Okay, so you're just gonna have to create a whole new one if you accidentally sign up for the wrong service. So that's good to know as well. So I've learned like 2 or 3 new things already in this session. So we're all winning. Anything else? Any other questions? Obviously, if you think of any questions as we go or after this session, you can follow up with me.
So Kevin, what if for like simulation, me as the coordinator, so each class has multiple simulations. So would it make more sense for, say, like NDAN 165 if I had 4 different time periods that 4 different people could sign up, that I'd have to make a booking for each section of that class?
If you want to route them into a specific one, I would suggest that you do that. Otherwise, there might be some confusion if it's very generic. At least to start, you know, if you get into it and you're like, you know, it doesn't make sense, it would make sense just to have more of a generic one, then you might go that route. So I would try and be as specific as possible if you want to funnel them into a signing up for a specific service. So you can have one big calendar if you wanted to, but just make sure that you outline your service with the specific course title or section or lab or whatever it is that they're doing. Yes, Lacey, you would just go ahead and delete the appointment. Any other questions? Going once, going twice.
I will comment that when you're busy on your personal calendar and not on your regular calendar, you can just type busy and it will block that time off.
Excellent point. Excellent point. And for those of you that didn't catch it earlier in the session, the bookings sign up will actually look at your Outlook calendar. So like when we go to sign up as Josiah, it would look at Josiah's calendar to make sure that he's available, and he didn't add like a meeting when he said he was available for office hours. So that's very helpful. All right. Well, we've almost been here an hour. I appreciate you taking that valuable hour out of your August to hang out with me. I might do more sessions on bookings just so I can hang out with all of you. But like I said, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be posting the recording if you want to skim through it and pick up anything, any little tidbits that you might have missed. and I'm always here to drop into your class, hang out with you. I can even bring coffee or anything like that. So have a good rest of your summer. Even if you're working during your summer, I still want you to have a good rest of your summer. Next week, we're hopping on and talking about Teams. We're going to dig into kind of more of a deeper dive with an overview for newer users, but also talk about some new features related to presenting PowerPoint Live, your content tray, breakout rooms, meeting options, things like that. So you're not going to want to miss it heading into a new term. And I'll be recording that as well if you do miss it. So, all right, cool. Have a good Wednesday. The rest of your Wednesday. Hopefully we avoid the hail that they're talking about. If not, throw some in your ice cold beverage.
Hey, Kevin, I have another off topic.
Yeah.
Just quick question. So we got new. Are the teaching stations the same in our classrooms since they've been redone?
The teacher stations are in the process of being redone. As we speak, I think David just had a delivery of teacher stations to Greenville, although we're not swapping over the teacher stations in Greenville during the fall term. Those will still be the same. City campus teacher stations will be updated, and once those are ready to roll, I will set up some training sessions so that you can get an overview on what those look like and how they work.
Okay, I was just curious if we're doing that on faculty days or what. So
yeah, there will be an overview of the teacher station on faculty days.
Hey,
All
this
right.
is David.
Hello, David.
Jumping in. In Sydney will look different, as well as there'll be some additional equipment on there. The Greenville campus will look exactly like it did last term. So functionality wise, it's very similar to what you're used to, or what you should have been used to over the past year. You'll see some additions, like some more screens on top of the desk, as well as some additional functionality that you'll be able to utilize during class. But Kevin, like you said, he'll go over the training during faculty days for that. But if you're on campus over the next week or so, you may see us running around with teacher stations and monitors and computers and whatnot. But they will be in place and ready for the beginning of the term in 2 weeks. And in terms of training, it's not a whole lot different. So there shouldn't be don't be too concerned that we're throwing a curveball at you at the last minute. It will function very similar, if not better than what you were used to over the last year or so. Hopefully gone are the days where you have to be concerned about what device your Teams meeting is using for the microphone or the video. Those issues should be resolved this term.
Yeah, and I'll also add to that, anything that you used to be able to do at the teacher station, you're still going to be able to do.
Yes.
But anyone that wants to do a whole lot more is going to be able to do a whole lot more, as David was saying. And if you're also wondering, like, why are you guys waiting till the last minute of summer to get these things installed? The reason is, and it's one word, maybe two words, depending on how it's spelled, is backorder. Like, so much of this stuff has been backordered because apparently, like, everyone else on the globe is trying to do updates and things like that and order equipment. So we're gonna have Sydney ready to roll. So just watch and be amazed, I hope. Or is that over promising? I think that's safe, right, David?
That might be over promise. Yeah. You won't be let's see, if you're always mad at IT, hopefully you'll be less mad at IT. How about that for a promise?
There we go. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks everybody for dropping in, and look forward to talking to you more in the next few weeks and months.